5 minutes comes by, the white van, our van, he just was a driver. That's all he was doing. He was going to drive, drop us off, pick us up on a phone call. We hopped in. I looked at the officer like, see, we got it figured out. We're not as dumb as what we look like. We drove off, and then we took Dearborn to court. This is a Muslim event. It took us a little bit of time to fight Dearborn, Michigan. We knew we lost in Dearborn. We knew we were going to be losing in Detroit. Like I said, this is not a court law and order. This is something that we fought for quite some time. The circuit court actually took it. Something weird happened. Only 3 judges in that circuit took the case and said we were guilty. Then I get a phone call from our attorney out there, and he says, Ruben, they want it to come back to the circuit. All the judges want to hear this case. Pretty rare. And they did. And it actually was in our favor. And it got kicked to the Supreme Court. You know how many people say, I'll sue you in the Supreme Court? The odds of even going there are pretty slim. The Supreme Court got our case, read our case, and actually agreed that we had every right to say those words, even though we were saying some riotous words. It was our right. Even your liberal on the Supreme Court actually backed us up.
Amen. Yes.
Now, amen. That's great. The Muslim event in Dearborn no longer is there. We shut it down. That's right up there with shutting down a homo parade in San Francisco.
Yeah. Amen.
Doesn't end there. Our good President Trump went to court when he was running for office. He was outside of a convention, and he said some stuff in the city that he had talking in, accused him of riotous words. And they took Trump to court. Trump's attorneys used our case in Dearborn, Michigan.
Wow.
When Trump was impeached the second time, they're trying to get rid of this guy. They're saying what you did was riotous words, and that's what happened in our state capitol because you, Trump, provoked them. His attorneys used our case in Michigan to get Trump off for being persecuted and arrested. Yeah. Free speech. You want to know riotous words? Look at Bible Believers versus Wayne County. That's us. We're there. It's on the books. Despise how I preach, what I preach. Let me tell you.
All the time.
I'm sorry?
We use your case all the time, and it's currently being used on our current appeal. Amen.
There you go. Wow, there you go. We don't know the impact we're going to make. You know, boy, if you can change laws in your own country. You know, that only happens when you die and you don't know the impact you made. This is going to last for some time. For you to think Biden's going to make a law and you're no longer going to preach, I think you're blowing it out of proportion. Everything's going to be fought in court for quite some time. And since we won that case, it's going to be used for quite some time. Hate everything about us. What we say, how we say. Let me tell you, you get arrested, your attorney will use some of our cases to get you off on free speech. Because I don't want to look like Canada. So it is unique. Court cases work. It's going to cost you some time. How patient are you? I want to set it up so when I'm gone, guys like you have free speech. I want to get it set up so if they do something to me, the next street preacher that shows up, they're going to handle him a little bit differently. What an impressive thing when I was told that Trump used our case. And guys, we still have free speech. We can lose it if we don't actually invest that talent. There's a biblical principle there.
That's right.
Are you willing to get arrested? Are you willing to go to jail? Not everything you're going to have an attorney. Hey, back in the day, we had to defend ourselves in court. We didn't understand what we were getting into. You guys have the luxury. We turn you on to an attorney. We'll find an attorney in your state. We didn't have that. We had a problem. We had to fly into the state that we got arrested in. You know how much money and time it cost? But yet now that sidewalk is free because we put up a fight. It was worth every penny.
Amen.
And again, when it comes to court cases, Jesus never said a word. The Apostle Paul, you couldn't keep his mouth shut.
Amen.
We have two complete extremes. There are times where maybe you shouldn't say anything. Matter of fact, most of you, when it comes to speaking before a court, I would advise you to shut your mouth. If you got a good attorney watching you, he'll probably just tell you yes or no. They don't need to hear, well, the Lord told me and God showed me. We don't need to hear that in court. Yes or no. You got the video. That's going to show much more than anything that you're going to have, which is why taping is important. And so when we go into cities now, because of all of these court cases, we've got a reputation. There are police departments that tell us, brother, when you're coming in, let us know. 9/11 happened. The Super Bowl was in San Diego. I mean, we used to go to the Super Bowl all the time. We'd be right up to the stadium. Ever since 9/11, you can't do that anymore. Right. So one of the detectives that I know in San Diego calls me up and he says, Ruben, we've got a big meeting. We're trying to figure out the NFL and the police and law and city attorney, and your name was brought up. We're assuming you're coming to San Diego. I said, yes. He says, everything's changed. There will be no parking lot parties because somebody can have bombs inside their trunk. But what we're going to do, because it's you need to go into the tram and show your ticket, and when you get off the tram at the station, show them your ticket. I'm going to give you a code word where your team can use, and we're going to put you next to the stadium where you normally are.
Yeah.
And, and hey, knowing the guy that I am, I'm, trying to negotiate. Abraham Jewed God. Don't take it personal, but he did. He was able to Jew God. So when he says, yeah, we're going to put you by the stadium, I said, that's great, officer, but we're going to be there before the game, after the halftime, and when the game's over, some of us have to go to the bathroom. I'll get you 2 porta potties. Wow. We normally use the megaphones. Don't bring your megaphones. We'll get you set up with some speakers. Wow. Reputation.